in New York, the acting U.S. attorney, Danielle Sassoon, not a flaming liberal, a member of the Federalist Society, a former Supreme Court clerk for, I think, Justice Scalia. She
Yep.
quit. She quit because she said, I'm not going to do what the Justice Department said and drop the prosecution of Mayor Adams. Then two of her colleagues in Washington quit. The top official in the criminal division, again, not a Trump appointee, although she's a Trump appointee. She was made the temporary U.S. attorney by Donald Trump. She quit. The top of the criminal division quit, and the head of the public integrity section quit. And then the Justice Department official, Donald Trump's former lawyer, not only wrote a scathing 8-page letter saying, how dare you quit and how dare you not follow orders, he announced that she was going to be investigated for failing to carry out the order. I consider, as I've said on this platform previously, that letter that he wrote a few days ago, ordering them to drop the prosecution and saying, we want to drop the prosecution with prejudice, but nonetheless, we want to drop the prosecution because Mayor Adams needs to focus on fighting illegal immigrants, and he can't defend himself and do that. That letter, in its bald mixing of politics and prosecutorial discretion, is unlike anything I have ever seen. And if you are not troubled by that, I'm not saying you have to declare a constitutional crisis or say Donald Trump has to be impeached, but if you're not troubled by that letter, you're not paying attention. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And now it's been escalated by the resignation of these officials and the chilling effect that if you're told, if you investigate the president, or if you refuse to carry out the orders that you think are not proper, you'll be investigated. Let's talk about this Justice Department thing. Again, there's a shadow story today, but I'm highlighting this one because I don't want to be fail to be holding them accountable for things. So, Mark, you and I were communicating before. I agree with you. There's a million things this week: getting the guy out of Russia, a million other things. Maybe moving along the reconciliation package. Lots going well by their standards. But how do you see, on the merits and as a news story, this Justice Department, these resignations of 3 top officials?
Huge news story. I mean, I need to read the letters carefully, both to and from Beauvais, but it's just hard to see a justification for this legally outside of him expressly wanting to engage in certain political considerations. Now, you could say they're policy considerations. I think he basically says, hey, we need Mayor Adams to cooperate on immigration enforcement, so we got to go easy on him. Like, I've never heard of anything like that before.
There's never been anything like it. And Mark, I asked you this question because you're I would say, like your bosses would say, uniquely qualified to answer, but you're well qualified to answer. Do they not care about the appearance at all? Do they think there'll be any backlash? Like, I was wrong. I thought they'd back off on the AP, and instead they doubled down. They're barring the AP more, and they're standing up to their decision. Is this for them a risk, do you think?
Well, notably, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is suddenly taking a trip overseas. Now, I can't figure out whether or not that was pre-planned, but, Bondi's kind of not in the United States currently. So, knowing her and knowing that she's kind of conflict averse about these sorts of things, and this is a guess, I'm pretty sure that Bondi is not a big fan of this. The Trump posture is, this is kind of not our problem. This happened. The president didn't direct it. And look, scoreboard, we're winning.
Yeah. How do you see this as, it's obviously a big story. The New York Press, the New York Times has like 4 articles about it already.
Yeah.
Do you see this as a story, A, that the public might care about, and B, that the Trump people might need to be back down on? A and B.
I don't think this is the kind of thing that regular people who Trump is speaking to every moment of every day care about at all. Yeah. I don't like this, but I think from Trump's point of view, or from the administration's point of view, the prosecution of Mayor Adams, I think Adams convinced him, was because Mayor Adams was being nice to Trump. And so this is part of the fighting the weaponization of the justice system, even though to objective observers, it looks like more of the same. I think that's the logic probably that they're seeing it through. Like the Democrats already broke it. It's not now our responsibility to take the high ground, although I, of course, wish they would.
What do you think happens next in this story, Batya? What would you imagine would be the next beat?
I really couldn't tell you. I think that it will be very easy for the Trump people to portray these judges as part and parcel of this entrenched bureaucracy of elites that are like in the pocket of the Democrats. I don't think that's accurate in this particular case, but certainly that is an accurate portrayal of much of the other obstruction that the Democrats are putting up to his
Yeah.
wildly popular policies. So I really don't know how this is going to go. What do you think?
I think there's three things that could happen, and I was a little surprised, even with Donald Trump's strangleholds on things that this didn't happen with just the first letter. Because again, as we all agree, the first letter is just daddy. I mean, there's nothing like it. For a letter from the Justice Department to the U.S. Attorney saying, drop the case because politics. One, I cannot believe there's no Republican member of the Senate who won't object and raise questions about this. Two, I wouldn't be surprised if more people quit the Justice Department, which could cause Donald Trump and Elon Musk to laugh and say, "Great, anyone who quit over this, we don't want." But at some point, you run out of prosecutors, and maybe not Donald Trump's people, but I don't know, maybe Pam Bondi comes back and she's told by people who judge when she trusts this is a problem. And then three, it's people not in the Justice Department, but in the White House. Again, you don't have to say I hate Donald Trump or I'm leaving MAGA to look at the facts in this case and freak out and say this is just a massive error. This is putting politics directly into prosecutorial judgment. Mark, what do you think might happen next?
I don't know. I could see a graceful exit of Beauvais, but I think the more likely thing is Donald Trump has racked up so many wins that his own press shop can't keep up with them. You know, you and I corresponded earlier because I posted this on social media. You know, I cover this stuff, and I didn't catch the video of the freed hostage or U.S. prisoner in Moscow, Mark Fogel. And the visuals of that and the speech this guy gave wrapped in the American flag standing next to Donald Trump was like, holy shit. Like that's like
incredible.
Real news. And we've just glossed over it. So what I'm just saying is this
happened late at night.
Yeah, but this is just a thing of volume. They're producing so much content, so to speak, so much volume, and you look at the polling, you look at the executive orders. Yes, he's being delayed in the courts and he's fighting it, but he's getting caught trying, so to speak. That in the Trump White House view, it's all wins, and this is just going to get drowned out along with everything else. And I'm inclined to agree with them.
Yeah, and look, you can say whatever you want about if you think that Joe Biden and Jake Sullivan and Tony Blinken were great diplomats. You can try to make that case. But what Donald Trump has done already, after being mocked, oh, he's not going to end the war in a day. Well, of course he's never going to end the war. But just look at what he's done in the Middle East and what he's done on Russia and Ukraine. No final result, but things are moving. And they were not moving under Joe Biden. They were not moving under Joe Biden in either of those conflicts.